My name is Jess, and I like. Try to think of something dumb to say. I like butts. It's either on my mug. Butts.
We're weird.
I literally have a T-shirt, and just in big words, it just says, "I feel strongly about butts." I'm professional today, so I'm not wearing that.
You can be professional today. I'm not.
Neither of us have to be.
I'm going over. Ready?
Okay.
Hello. So I don't have a bit today because it's Friday, which is the only day that I do the stream. That's relevant. It's Friday, and I'm sleepy. But today I have a guest, so you don't have to just listen to Gabe talk to himself today. We actually.
I'm crying that we don't just get to hear you talk lots and lots.
I didn't know that it was on. That's fine. That's fine. Hello. Hi. Yes, I'm a professional. Thank you for coming to another episode of Tabletop Tabletalk. And today I have with me Jess. I played in a couple streamed games with Jess, which have been fantastic. Jess was the ram. Jess was the one who ran the Dark Matter campaign that I was in recently that was so much fun. Yes, please, Jess, introduce yourself.
Fair enough. Hi, my name is Jess. You can find me at go_JG in pretty much all the places online. I am a tabletop role-playing game creator, a streamer, a general all-around goof, a big fan of GMless games, and also of Gabe.
Stop
being here.
No, I reject that. As you can probably see, I'm testing out something a little different with the captions, just so that it's in more of a uniform place, just so that you can actually see who is speaking when. I'll probably do more of this. I like the way that it's framed, but also that way it feels to me like it's a little bit easier. And one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you, Jess, is because you, like I said, ran that Dark Matter game. And I talked to you a little bit before, but that was the first campaign that you did that was a streamed campaign, right?
Yes, that is correct. I have been streaming tabletop games for a long time, and it was like the number of times I'd been asked, when are you gonna run a campaign? When are you gonna run a campaign? Hey Jess, when are you running a campaign? I was like, what are my the one shots I've run for you not enough? Are all the GMless mini series I have facilitated not sufficient? But eventually I finally just bit the bullet and GM'd a streamed campaign. I've GM'd campaigns offline. We've discussed this. But this is the first time I streamed an ongoing campaign that I ran. So I did it. Yay.
So you mentioned to me off camera that who was your longest streamed campaign with, Jess?
The longest ongoing campaign I'd ever run was with my little babby cousins, who at the time were 9, 11, and 13. I think they all aged up by a year. I think one of them started as 8 and then was 9 or 10 by the end. We played for almost 2 years, and it's just the best. If you ever get a chance to run a game for kids, do it, because kids are the best.
Kids are unpredictable, and that I agree. I think that's what makes them the best.
Oh, they're so all the things that you as an adult person stop yourself and you're like, that's not reasonable. That doesn't go into the story right now. Kids don't do that. Kids are like, this is happening now. It's the best. They're like, can I? Oh, I have this spell where I can make a fire in my hand. I can make a little fireball in my hand. Okay, what do you want to do with that? I want to stick it up his butt. Okay.
Yeah. Did that actually happen?
You're there. I can't tell you no.
Did that actually happen?
That happened. That's how they defeated a bugbear boss.
A bugbear boss
up his butt.
Wow. That's horrifying. But also, I guess, like, if they defeated the bugbear boss, I guess it worked.
It did. It did work.
So,
It worked.
I know that I've talked on the show before about GMless games, and I know that you absolutely love GMless games. Because it's like the collaborative narrative storytelling stuff. Do you feel like playing those games and having those moments helped you in the Dark Matter game we ran? Because there was a lot of times where you just gave us the reins to tell something and then just worked off of it, which was a lot of fun. And it led to a lot of chaos, like giving children laser swords. But
they weren't hang
fine,
on.
Excuse me, teenagers.
They were teenagers.
Yes.
They were teenagers.
And teenagers like 18, 19, the fire booty cantrip. Oh my God. The teenagers could be 19, 18. We traded laser swords for hoverboards and what?
And teleportation bombs.
Yes.
So not explosive bombs. I want to be very clear. No fake made up children were harmed in the storytelling of our game.
Teenagers, Jess, not children.
Yeah,
you corrected
not
me.
children.
But do you feel like the GM-less stuff about narrative storytelling, I guess it's not even a question of did it make a difference, because I can tell from talking to you that it did. How do you think it made a difference?
I honestly think that playing GM-less games benefits you as a player, as a GM, as a general storyteller. It just, the more you play, like, and especially if you play a variety of GM-less games, you have to be quick on your toes. You're thinking of such different scenarios. You're like, okay, what's the fun thing about this GM-less game? It's these mechanics. And then you're gonna take that. You're naturally gonna be like, that was so much fun. Where else can I do this cool and fun thing?
Yeah.
And I think that is such a huge benefit of GM-less games. Like, some GM-less games aren't GM-less games, they're GM full games. Sometimes y'all are GMing. Sometimes not necessarily. Some GM games do have like someone leads a little more or facilitates a little more, but a lot of them really encourage all of you to take the reins, to share a story and tell it all together. And it is so beneficial. Once again, I think as a player, as a GM, you're gonna stop and think, like, or just like I said, it's gonna make you think on your toes, like what works, what story elements are fun, where is it good to kind of let others take free reign, like to hand the story over to the players, like to be a big fan of the people you're playing a game with and know when it's going to be a lot of fun to be like, okay, I've just ramped this thing up. I've just started this thing spinning. Now I'm giving it to Hot Potato. It's your turn now. Like, go for it.
So you've been playing GM-less games frequently, and as general, like, we're doing this on Roll20, and there's a bunch on Roll20. I remember I sent you a message asking for like GM-less games, and I think you sent me at least 10.
Yeah.
That you could name in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, there's a lot. If you just go, I think if you specifically go to the Roll20 marketplace, and there are filters when you're in the Roll20 marketplace, and if instead of looking for, modules for games, you look for either full and complete games, or like there's a few ways to do it. I think some of them are actually listed under board game. There's a few ways if you look in the Roll20 marketplace to go and look for games, and there's a number of great either GM-less or GM light, prep light. Like that's my favorite thing is GM light. So because I know there's a lot of folks like myself who get a little bit like anxious or nervous about like being in total control and feeling like well, I have to lead the story or else, like, and it's so much fun when you have something and you are all just in it together, sharing the story, sharing the space, sharing control of a narrative and telling a story all together. There's so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Are you on the marketplace right now? Are you
maybe?
There's so many.
Yeah, because someone said Alice is Missing, and I've never gotten the chance to play Alice is Missing before. I want to. Okay, so Jess, what are some of your favorites?
I'm trying to think of not. So, there's a game called One Last Fight, I believe,
Okay.
that plays really well if you like board games, but you also like some role play. It's really fun. It's got cards, it's got tokens, you gain power-ups. You're a group of people all together getting ready to fight the big bad, and it's this lead up to this final battle, and it's dramatic, and each of you has different kinds of powers, and you are all like, why? You're like, why is the world like this? You get to answer that sort of question. You also get to answer all together, like, who are you? Why are you this way? Why is this villain so important? What have they done to you directly? How have they affected your life? And why is it so important that you defeat this big bad? And it's such a good, like, dramatic lead up to a final battle. It's also one of those games that is like, spoiler alert, kind of deadly. You might not all make it out alive, but that makes it kind of like really fun. It's a really good one. There's Dialect, which, have you played Dialect yet?
Yes, I have. I played Dialect a couple months ago, actually, for the first time. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Dialect is about language, which you're like, language? How is language a game? You literally get to kind of build elements of a language together and then watch it kind of fall apart. It's I don't know how else to say it. It's so good though. It's really beautiful. It tells all these wonderful stories about like about growth and loss and culture, and so you make this situation together, and then you have to say, like, slowly you lose some of your words, you lose some of what you had, or you make new ones. It's a beautiful game that tells wonderful stories. Like, what did you do? Which situation? Because there's all different scenarios. I know I've done like the Mars mission.
Yeah.
Do you remember which scenario you did?
We had superpowers and we were in an airship. I don't know which. I don't know. I don't know which it was. I think the traveling air. I don't know which of those two things were focused on, like, the scenario we did. I can't remember. Now I have to play it again.
Yeah, it's very good. I just know, for example, it's really good. That's one that, like, there's some GMless games are really good as one shots. Some are really good as campaigns. That one to me plays really well if you take a little bit of time with it. The last time I got to play it, we played it over a period of time, and we were a community that went to Mars to start to colonize Mars, and then you lose touch with the Earth, and you can't speak to them anymore, and you're all alone, and you're stranded on Mars.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it gets really, really dark and, like, lonely out there, and it's just you. And I remember in that one, we literally came up with these sayings and these meanings that meant so much to us that I know that I can say those words to any of the people I played that game with, and they'll still be, like, moved by it, because it was so dramatic. Like, we literally had words we were saying, like, keep the lines open, which literally meant trying to keep communication between us so that we weren't lost to each other, and then until we see the stars, because we knew we were going to run out of time.
Yeah.
And those things really meant something in that game. Like, it meant so much, and it's such a beautiful story. And Dialect is a game to check out if you want to tell a really, like, really beautiful story altogether. Ugh, I don't know. It's such a... I'm sorry. Like,
never apologize
so
for
good.
excitement. That's part of why I like this show.
So
okay, so what is the game you played that the Dark Matter campaign was a lot? Like, we did a lot. There was a lot happening. Do you think anything you played influenced the style that you have now if you GM for people?
Like I said, I think just the handing over of reins, handing off to other people. I'm trying to think of, like, we were discussing, there are games like, which you can find in the Roll20 Marketplace, wink, For the Queen.
Yep.
is a beautiful game where you literally go around and you each have a turn answering questions together. But furthermore than that, something that I love about For the Queen is you can then ask questions of that person. So, for example, I might get a question that's like, um, why is, oh gosh, why do I see something ugly in the Queen?
Mm-hmm.
And it might be like, oh, I saw a moment where she was like raw or acted out or something, but I still love her because. And then someone else seeing that can be like, but wait, uh, you know, do you secretly still hold any like a grudge or something? Like the fact that you can continue to question and continue to pull and continue to encourage story prompts with people, like anything like that I can get. I think GMless games more than anything has caused me to be like, wait, I can ask other people's questions. I can ask their opinions. I can be like, what are you thinking in this moment? What are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
I want to know. Like, what is your character? What are you thinking? Tell me. I
So
want to know. Give me a
if
sight.
so for those of you who don't know, when you're making campaigns on Roll20 with the GMless games, Alice is Missing, For the Queen, Ironsworn, there is also a button when you're creating, when you're creating games, that you can try to register your games for Roll20Con that is happening on the 23rd to the 25th. I saw that and it's exciting. There's a couple things that if I have the extra time, I want to try to register for events as part of Roll20Con. But if you are running a game and you wanted to do it that weekend, you want to register it for the event, there is a button you can literally just click as you're creating your games. So just keep that in mind. Yes. Oh, Roll20Con. Tell me more. So for those of you who don't know, Roll20Con is happening on the 23rd to the 25th. Is an event hosted by Roll20. There are going to be a bunch of different games. There may or may not be swag and new things that are revealed during it. There's going to be actual plays from the Rivals of Waterdeep crew. My Monday crew and I are going to be having a pretty interesting run through. I'm working with the DM, not the DM, the DM from the last campaign we had for our Monday game, Dave the Human, and they and I are going to be sitting and building a dungeon that we are then going to co-DM later on in the day for our general Monday group. So that'll be a lot of fun and probably chaos. Taliesin from Critical Role is going to be playing Burn Bright on Sunday, October 25th. That's going to be absolute beautiful chaos, and I'm excited for that. Because once you put an Eldritch deity inside of Burn Bright, there is literally going to be nothing that's impossible. But yes, there is more information. Oh, go ahead. What were you thinking, Jess?
I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry, you can't put that out to the world. You can't put like Taliesin, Eldritch deity in Burn Bright and then not be like, I'm sorry. Does this person have any sway with the burn? Because if you know Burn Bright,
Oh
the
my
burn
God,
is such a
Jess.
this ongoing, like omnipresent, terrifying thing. And I'm just like, I could see Taliesin having some sway with the burn. I'm sorry.
Saying Talen's name, the captioner caught the word talisman instead the first time.
Oh.
And now it said Talent's name. And I'm just I think they did it on purpose. Huh. But yeah, gosh. there's a bunch of stuff happening for Roll20Con. If you get the chance, check it out. You can register some of the games that you're playing. If you wanted for them to be a part of the events that are going on, there's a bunch of different people just playing games, which is kind of one of the best things to do right now, especially when we're stuck in a world of more chaos than we want. So if you have time, come hang out with us, sit, enjoy some games, maybe get inspired to run your own, and let's all just create and tell even more interesting, exciting stories. And check out Burn Bright, because the system it's one of, oh my gosh, we're going to play Burn Bright at some point, Jess.
Yep.
Oh, I love the way that it runs. I did a first look thing. So oh my God. Okay. I'm getting distracted. I'm easily distracted. I know who I am.
You're good. I might be running some Burn Bright demos during Roll20Con, so if you want to hang out with me and you haven't gotten to play Burn Bright yet and you want to take a look, might be doing some of those. I know there's a few cool folks that are going to be running some. I know I actually get to play Burn Bright with Salty Sweet Games and Roll20 on Tuesdays.
That's exciting.
And
oh
hang out with us.
yeah.
Hint, hint. Yeah, and I know Lauren, who also plays in that game, is going to be running some Burn Bright demos. So
that's fantastic.
y'all.
Okay. So, when we were playing in the Dark Matter game, there were a bunch of times that I, as like a member of the party, was like, I'm worried that we're not being open enough for Jess, or we're like derailing everything, or we are like not actually getting anything done. What were like some concerns that you had in that game? You made the most like ugh face when I said I thought we were derailing you.
Not at all. My only like, did I overall have a story to tell? Yes. Like there was a story there.
Yeah.
There was like I was running a module. So if you haven't checked it out, Dark Matter, there's a module. They did a Kickstarter, and there was a set story. However, I kind of was just using that as like a backbone, and then my main goal was literally just that I was hoping y'all would get up to some space nonsense.
Oh, we did.
Honestly, that's all I want.
We definitely did.
I was like, I want to make sure that I'm giving y'all enough different fun situations to keep y'all entertained. I wanted to make sure y'all got to use some of your cool space powers. Your character
Zion.
I mean,
oh no.
was a really good example of, when you need to give a character something to do close up and long range, because you literally had a sniper rifle that then turned into a microphone. I was gonna say it in a joking manner, a microphone. But a microphone. If you have never like that's
Whoa. Have you ever thought about like microphones are the ones we use when we're recording stuff, but megaphones are the ones we use when we're yelling about stuff? You have thought about that? Okay, then I guess this realization was just mine today. Continue.
Megaphone! Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's like I get you. Yeah, but I think that's just a galaxy brain moment. I mean, it's perfect. We're talking about sci-fi.
That's
so
true.
It's perfect. But yeah, that's an example of like one character having two such diverse, capabilities. I just wanted to make sure I had something for every situation y'all wanted, even if it wasn't every episode, but you know what I mean? I didn't want y'all to get bored. I wanted to make sure you had opportunities to do like cool stuff. I wanted opportunities for all of you to have in-group conversations and out-of-group conversations. Yeah. I wanted, there to be fun NPCs for you to work with, but also for there to be just moments where it was just the four of you, so you could, have RP moments. To me, that's some of my favorite stuff, is like just getting to see the players, like what do y'all get up to? And y'all came up to some hilarious in-group
nonsense
relationship nonsense.
Yeah, I think, what was it that they were trying to figure out if my character wanted to date the ship or date the mob boss lady?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was all about the mob boss lady. That ship was a jerk.
That's so funny. The only reason you say the ship was a jerk is because they told you not everything was possible. They were just practical.
No, I don't need practical. I just need blind support. I'm a robot assassin.
That's amazing.
Has there been a game like for any system that you've seen and you were like, that's a game that I want to run? Because I know that preference is like the group narrative storytelling, but has there ever been one that's like, I want to tell a story with that, like specifically?
Yes, but I'm, oh goodness gracious, I feel like I'm fairly like obvious and with a theme and stuff like that. There's a game recently on Kickstarter, it's not fully out yet, called Monster Care Squad.
Yes.
Where you literally just take care of sick monsters.
Yep. That's all you want?
That's all I want. That's all I want in life.
That's so fair.
When I play games, I feel like you can relate to this. When I play games, I'm the person that's like, wait, do I have to kill this monster, or can this monster be my new friend?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Can you? Yeah, you've done that, right?
Yes, 100%. 100%. So, okay, with that, what's hard? Or there's probably a couple things. What's hard when you're trying to get into your comfort zone of running a game? Because you knew all of us that were players in your game, and like maybe have talked to us separately, or like have seen us in games separately. But this was the first stream game that you've ever done. So it's that extra level of like, I'm not just doing this thing for people to enjoy. I'm doing this thing, and also people see what I'm doing that aren't just like my crew.
Yeah.
What were some things that you feel comfortable talking about that you were working through? Because obviously there's like always as well like personal things that you don't have to reveal, because there's could be millions of things going on behind the scenes.
I'll be honest. I picked this crew. Okay. The GM is in some ways a player too, and the GM should also be comfortable. Hey,
yes.
Listen.
Yes.
And I knew I was going into a situation where it doesn't need to be, but it was somewhat of a vulnerable situation for me. So I literally thought about it. I was approached by the sponsor, the owner of that content, and they said, will you do a show for us? And I said, give me some time, I'll think about it. And I literally took a week or two to think, like, who would I be happy to tell a story with? Who would I be comfortable telling a story with? Who would I, like, enjoy doing, you know, some mystery, conspiracy, sci-fi fun and silliness with?
Yeah.
And I came up with this crew because I was like, these are all people I personally have played with. I like how they tell the story. I've enjoyed spending time with them. I'm comfortable, at least as far as I know. You know, everything I've had, all my experiences were very positive. So, and then on top of that, like, firstly, I think you're allowed to take the time to choose. You know, you should feel good too. And as a GM, you can also say, like, you can say this as a player and you can say it as a GM. If a game is not working, you can step away from it.
Yeah. Lord, that's,
and you
yeah,
should.
That's a good point. It should still be about having fun when you're telling these game like stories and having these experiences. It should be about the fun that you're having. It's not just about, I have to do this because if I don't, everyone's going to be mad. But like, if you're not having fun and everyone at the table but you is having fun, the story's either going to end up slacking or it's going to fall away. And then it's probably not, no matter how good the party feels about it, if you leave at the end of the day not enjoying it, you might not be comfortable enough to come back.
And that's something like, value your players, but value yourself too. I think that's really, really important. And so I took the time, I picked this crew, and then I requested we do a session 0, right? Like I said, hey, everyone, can we find a time before we start streaming this to sit and talk? I want to go over some basic, like, some formalities. There was, of course, some formalities to go over. Like, here's some stuff. I want to also go over safety tools, and I want to go over, like, what everyone would like to see, because I am not gonna be happy if everyone isn't like, I want to know what people want.
Yeah.
I want to know what you want to do. I want to know what you're going to be excited about, because if you're not having fun and you're not excited, I'm not going to be either. Like, I want us all to be, like, having fun at this table and telling a story together where later on you're like, remember that time we did that thing and it was the best? Like,
It's the moments that like. It's like I talk about this all the time on the show actually. And Jess was one of the people in the group when we were doing it. Tales from the Loop. I talk about this constantly because that game has such a place in my soul. And like, I remember the moment we had when we were inside of the record shop and there was a guy that was like threatening our characters, and then did Bev come downstairs with a flamethrower essentially?
I think it was literally a lighter and a can of like
spray, like, but then someone had like a sonic rifle or something, right? Because they got it from like Jib or the other one.
Oh
yeah, someone just had a straight up sonic cannon or something, and like we're like kids, like like 12.
Yep. No, I forgot about that. We didn't have any guns, but the alien we met did.
And then we took it. They just gave it to us.
Right. I forgot about that.
I didn't.
That game is so good.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, I think about that a lot.
That's such a good game. Yeah, that's like, and that's the sort of game. Oh goodness. Tales from the Loop. Like when you're asking me, like when you asked me, is there ever a game you play, and you're like, oh, I need to run a game in this world. I definitely go based on like the story elements. Like I said, for me, a game like Monster Care Squad is immediately like, that's the story I want to tell because it's cute and it's sweet and I love it, and we all love monsters, and who doesn't want to hug a monster friend? But a game like Tales from the Loop is a game where I feel like you can feel, even if it's not necessarily always your bag, you can feel a little stronger and more confident in GMing because of the mechanics it gives you. Those mechanics are so good, and those stories are so good, and the things we were able to tell in that game, like even though Tales from the Loop, like it stuck with us, and that's a game where even though I'm like, it isn't a game I look at and like that's mine so much, I need to tell that story right now. It's one where I'm like, okay, that's one I'm keeping in my pocket for later.
Yeah.
Because even if it isn't like my immediate need to tell right now kind of game story, it tells such incredible stories no matter what.
Yes.
That, so good. Like,
it's a story you could enjoy telling.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's not my like exact thing, it's capable of telling such good stories. It doesn't even matter that it doesn't have sick monsters for me to hug in it.
That's fair. Okay. How did you feel from session 1 of our campaign to like halfway through to like the end?
Okay.
And like comfort and confidence and like knowing what you wanted. Well, I guess in session 1 it's you either know exactly what you want to do in session 1 or like there's like no idea what you want to do in session 1. I feel like there's no in between.
Yeah. I definitely prepped the most, obviously, I feel like for session 1. Like, I think that's probably a consistent thing, is you're probably gonna over prep, and that's okay. Like, don't stress yourself out. Don't force yourself to over prep every single time. Goodness gracious, because I know I that's something I have and do. But for session 1, you know, you've got to figure out what everyone does, what everyone's gonna do, and like I had to get a feel for what y'all were gonna do, and boy, was what y'all did not what I was expecting, but it was so good, and it gave me the idea that, you know, going forward, I was like, okay, I have a better idea now of how this is gonna go, what they're gonna do, what they need from me, that sort of thing. I will say that I was obviously the most nervous. I was so nervous for our first episode together, but afterwards, y'all were way too supportive of me.
I feel like way too is relative.
Y'all were just, And I think that's so good, and I think that's so important, and I think that's such a good thing.
Yeah.
That
The reinforcement that like the storyteller is doing a good job, because like you kind of just, if you're doubting it, you want to hear it, but you don't want to ask for it. Then we have those moments of like, was everything okay? Like, let me just make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like, hey, if y'all have a GM and you like the story they're telling, please tell them. Please tell your GMs, you know? And if there are things that you can do better, tell them that too. There's a great thing we did after every episode called Stars and Wishes. Hey,
That's
friends.
true. Yeah.
It just as an opportunity, cause like, and once again, I as a GM want that. Like, I want to hear, like, every episode I was like, please tell me what you want.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, what did you like? What did you not like? And what can we do better? What would you like to see? What would you still like to do? And it was always stuff like you would say, like, I haven't gotten to use my sniper rifle yet. And I was like, okay, gotta give you a chance to shoot stuff.
Yeah.
Got it.
What kind of stuff do you think you would make you like GMing more? And this is like literally any ideal you can think of. Like if the whole party of people you have helps you build the world, if the party of people like give you ideas for NPCs, if literally at the end of the game there was literally just like a checklist of them being like, hey, like if there's anything you want to see in the next game, just like check these boxes, otherwise you can just hit nothing and that's cool. Like if this is a completely theoretical idea, but what kind of stuff would make you more comfortable to do it?
I am in fact a dirty, filthy over prepper.
Yeah,
if I don't wrangle it in, I will spend way too much time prepping stuff that I do not need and will not use. And then I'll make myself like anxious and worried and stuff like that. And then if I didn't use it, I'll be like, oh no, I did something wrong because I didn't use this thing I prepped. So I do prefer, there's a few things I think that work for that. I think either using a few systems. I really, really like, one of the great things about GMless games is you can do anthology play, which is to say you can tell one story across several different systems. You can roll it out and kind of use it. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, games that encourage and allow stuff like that, games that let you as a GM be like, okay, we're going to play this game now to build the world together. Like, you use something like Quiet Year, which is available on the Roll20 Marketplace. To build a world. I know you've played that game on stream, and I think you made fish people?
Yes.
Like...
Yes, I did. Oh, Lord. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That was chaos.
Would you, like... You don't necessarily need to, but using a game like that, making a world, and then, like, playing in it, would you not be curious of the misadventures of your fish people
100%.
After you played that game?
100%, absolutely. Without a doubt.
So yeah, games that like let you do stuff together, games that let you jump around with different mechanics and things like that, so that you can all together be like, okay, we did a few episodes in here, but now I want to know, let's build some lore together. We're gonna play this GMless game. We're gonna step out of our game right now, and we're gonna play this GMless game all together to tell the story to find out who are the gods of our world. Let's use a different game to do that.
Oh my gosh. Bunny had a link of it, so I guess I'll have to post that in the description when this YouTube video goes up. Oh, why would you do this to me? Chaos. I'm so here for it.
If that's all I did. But also I really love like story points and stuff like that, knowing there's a direction people want to go in. So a game like Invisible Sun or a game like Burn Bright has these really awesome story points for characters, and you know, you can check in with your players and be like, hey, what do you still need to do? What do you still want to do? And they'll be like, well, my character needs to discover a magical artifact. And you're like, noted. I can, you know, you're going to this planet next time. Maybe you'll find something there, yeah. Right?
Okay. So what if you were playing a game and the system has built into it like social cues for the players to give to the storyteller? So example, if a storyteller is delving into something really interesting, and we'll assume it's a Roll20 game just because that makes this easier, and it makes more sense because when you have a digital medium, there's so much stuff that you can do that's in some ways are easier record keeping than physical games. But so you're playing a game on Roll20 and the storyteller is telling this narrative, and there's like one part that's really, really interesting to you. So the game has like a built-in functionality of points that stuck out to you or things that were of interest, and then it's like a little note that like during game you just send that to your GM so that like when the session's over they see the stuff that people were really interested in, so that you know that's what they want to focus on. How would you feel about that sort of thing then?
I think that's heckin' amazing. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
What a great Gabe,
Don't worry about it.
Are you making this game in Roll20 right now? Cause
don't worry about it. Maybe don't worry about it.
I want to listen. Put me down as a playtester, please.
Got you. But yeah, it's because blah, 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 words. This is why captioners are both fantastic and terrible for me. I like collaborative storytelling because I want to be invested in the world that we are building, not just the world that I am building. Mm-hmm. And when you can see the stuff that people are interested in, it makes a huge difference. And it's part of the reason why like the work that I was doing on the Into the Motherlands thing has been interesting, because since they're doing a live play while the game, like the story is being developed, I know what people are interested in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to dive into this stuff. And I think honestly more people would do well with that, even just when they're GMing, because you might have if you're running a module, I get that it's a little bit harder, but if you're coming up with an original story and then you have this session and in the first hour you see that the party was originally like, you planned for them to go to this town, talk to this talking dog, and then go meet this flying frog. And they talk to this talking dog, and then the dog offhandedly mentions, yeah, I learned to talk because of a witch in the forest gave me the ability to talk. They don't care about the frog. They want to go meet this witch and make it so that she can make their ferret talk. And it's like, that's the moment where it's like, you know, actually, this is interesting. Because if you have an open world and you see what people are excited about, then you can share that excitement together.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I love, like I said, I do very much like in Burn Bright, if you have your character sheet, you can literally put in those story points and then you can check them off as you go.
So
and
cool.
You can, yeah, it's so good. And it brings up, and it literally like, oh, you completed this story point. Well, now you get to up a social skill or something like that based on what you just did. I think that's really good. But I also really love the idea, like you said, of a game where not only do you have that, but maybe you also have a push notification to the GM, right? To say like, this this is headed in the story path I want to do, or this is a story path I want to do, or this moment was really good. I'd like to, anything like that you could immediately have that sort of like notification as a GM. And I love that we're just like spitballing stuff right now. Hey, Roll20, make this stuff for us. So sorry, I'm so sorry, but I love the idea of having like either there's a public like, oh, we're doing this thing as a group and I really like it, or a private thing to the GM of like hey, you just hinted at this thing and I think I'd love that for my personal story point, like I love this for me. Or you have one that's like public, that's like, hey, I love this for us.
Yeah,
like I think that's so much fun. Like I think that's such a great idea for
I am writing down these ideas. That's why I rewatch my videos. You see me like typing every now and then. Yeah, it's I love that. So even though, like on Roll20, you can whisper to different people, or you can like whisper roles to the GM. So like just like whispering like notes or ping to the GM and yeah, I'd like, I know some people who love the idea of like the ideology of player versus GM, and it's never been fun for me because I know it's hard for me personally to like separate the feeling of, well, they are frustrated at me for this thing happening when I was trying to just tell the story. And it becomes like, well, you're responsible for my character dying, or you're responsible for that NPC we cared about dying. And I really struggled with it, and then I just didn't GM for a while because I felt like crap. I thought that we were coming up with this narrative, and it got to a point where, like, I mentioned this in a previous episode, if there's like something dramatic happening, I'll even just like whisper to one of the party members, like, hey, this moment is probably dangerous for this character. How do you feel if they die? And if they're literally like, if it happens, it happens. If they're okay with it, then I know where I can go forward. But if they have a relation to that character, and then I would have done something even accidental that would have like frustrated them, I would have felt terrible about it.
Yeah. I think that's really great of you to check in. I think check-ins are so important just in general. I think I love playing with safety tools for that reason. I think it's more fun to use safety tools and to use check-ins and to use stuff like that and to say like, hey, you know, this moment could be like exactly what you're saying, this moment could be a big moment, but it could also be a dangerous moment. Like, what do you feel on that situation?
Honestly,
and if they're like, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that ping thing almost feels like an O card, because we've talked about like X and O. Like X is the hard no, N is that you want to lean away from it, O is that it's all good. It almost feels like it's like in a weird, like an O plus. Like, this isn't just good, I want more of this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And I think that there's it's funny that you say that, because I've been thinking about my tools, and I know I've used the O that way before, but I really like what you're saying with O plus. I think that's a really good way to put it, because I keep thinking about, I've had the O where we did that before, where like literally someone checked in, because O can be like, are you okay? Can be O question mark, like, is this all right? And I've absolutely had someone do that, like the first scary game I ever played in. And that tool was used in that way, like, is this okay right now? Like, we're literally being chased and we're like in a huge terrified, and I think I was like actually shaking on screen, and I was checked in on, and I was like, big O, like trying to say like O plus, like what you're saying right now, like this is actually like, yes, I'm terrified, but like it was in such a good storytelling moment and in such a good way. And I think I'm gonna, it's so funny you're saying this, because I'm literally like thinking about my safety docs, and I'm like, I'm gonna go update those right now with like O plus. I really like that premise. Like, yes, you know, this is intense, but I want more. I agree, this could be fun, or like, yes, I know that this is a dangerous moment, but I'm here for it. Thumbs up, let's do it.
Yeah.
Heck
so
yeah.
like even my brain did it started, and then it like was like, nah, we're gonna take a slide down. I like session zeros are necessary. I feel like period. I feel like that's like a solid point of its own. I think that we should have essentially mini session zeros like every couple games, to make sure that the tone is what people want, to make sure it's going the way people want, to make sure if like people are swaying in a different way, because session zeros might not be where someone feels motivated to speak up, because it's at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I've even had moments of that where like I often don't pick my character stuff until other people have, because I don't want there to be like overlap, or like if I'm not the person running the game, sometimes I might have a tone for a character in my head, but I have no idea what the tone of everyone else is going to be. So I don't want to make like the very ominous, like brooding character who has like this intense drive, or like this very comical, goofy character, if like everyone else is the polar opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. And like you, and even if you're the kind of person that does write a big backstory before you even start a game, you know, you might start playing the game and then that person's not that person.
Yeah.
You're like, oh dang, in this world with this group, this person is actually more like this.
Yeah. Yep.
And I 100% agree and really like that idea of like having a you know, into the campaign a re-zeroing.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, well, now that we're in it, now we know a little bit better who we are and like what this story is.
Yeah. And it's
going through it again.
It's not like it's a bad thing, but it's like trying to avoid that frustration for someone in the game, whether you're a member of the party or not, because even if you don't feel bad that your character is becoming someone different, it might still be frustrating at first when you're trying to figure out who they are now. It's like, okay, well, you were originally looking for vengeance of your father, but everyone else just wants to get pie. So maybe you're not trying to get revenge for your father, because if you're eating pie, that just doesn't seem right.
I mean, pie doesn't need to be anti-vengeance.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to pie. Is that what you're saying to me?
Oh no.
I'm not proud of it, but I have no regrets.
We're done here. Goodbye. I'm kidding. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. Don't apologize. This is great.
Oh god. I was trying to think of like. Okay. So I really like what you're describing here, and I think that's a different great.
Yeah.
Conversation, and I have a question for you because I think I know I felt this way before, and I'm curious based on what you're telling me right now. Have you ever felt like imposter syndrome for your character?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I have my character on Monday who is a dragonborn, like he's half dragonborn, half tiefling, but I like leaned more into the dragonborn, and he's a paladin. And originally he was actually lawful evil, but the rest of the party has been like actually more evil, that like Gabe didn't even want to like nonchalantly lean into it, because then it was going to feel like we're an entirely evil party. So he's become more of like a gray paladin that like has like a code of rules, and it's less about going against the good or the bad, but like giving people the chance, and then if they decide to do cruel and terrible things, then he does something, but he can't help everyone. And it because for a while I had this whole backstory of like, okay, he is the son of my dragonborn paladin that used to be a paladin of Tiamat, who is bad. And the original Dragonborn was like a recovered paladin of Tiamat, and then like was trying to figure out what he wants. This son of his had considered Tiamat, had considered Bahamut, the whole Draconic pantheon. He was going to just go around and take charge, and he was he's like half white dragon, so there was like the evil aspect of like the cold to that. And then I was like, after the first episode, a couple of the characters like stole boots off of like dead skeletons. And then when I was thinking of my character's reaction, I'm like, I don't think he's actually happy about that. I don't know who he is going to be. And at first I had this whole idea of like, maybe when he's like nice, he's just putting on a facade. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's not actually a facade. Maybe he like is a better person than I anticipated.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, and you like, yeah, so like, you felt that way, that like you're like, this isn't, I don't know about you, but like I've had the feeling where it's like, I don't know that I'm playing this character right, even though it's my character.
Yep. Because I was like, okay, here's the way he's gonna be, and when I kept trying to stick to that idea that I had, it just kept feeling like I don't feel like this is right. And yeah, it's like you said, but like I'm the only one who knows what's right, because it's the character that I made. Yeah.
So even though it's technically impossible for you to do that character wrong, because they're your character, and you made them, you're still like, this isn't am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Am I like, and I think that's why it's absolutely reasonable and good, not just reasonable, like really good to
Yeah.
come back and relook at your stuff and be like, okay, I know in our first session 0, I said this,
Yeah.
but that's not who this is.
I would love to have. I would love for those conversations to be like something that, like we talked about, like the thing that had like a session, almost a session 0, like every few sessions. I would love for those conversations to be something that happens, and it can be as vague as like, I think my character like is still on track of where I want them to be. But if you have that conversation with the entire party, that's like, actually, I think I want my character to be more involved in like positive, good things. And that, oh my gosh, communication is so important. Communication is so important. And I'm glad that today I get to talk to somebody else instead of myself, who can help me emphasize these ideas. But yeah, that debrief of like, I actually think my character has been leaning more towards a negative energy aspect, and I kind of want to bring it back to like a positive, kind, compassionate place. And when you bring that stuff up, the storyteller, the GM, whoever it is, they know that that's what you, the player, wants to lean into for this character. And the rest of the party also knows, which means that they might try to avoid the other like situations on the opposite spectrum and help you and the character lean into those situations that you want, because it's that realization that's obvious, but we need the reminder. We can't read each other's minds, and it's really hard to read a character and a player's mind simultaneously, because they can be so far off. You might think that this character is doing something that is terrible, and you don't know the reason for it. And you might think that the player also wants to do something terrible. The player might not even like consider that in their natural sense, but they're trying to think of how the character is. So when you get that like debrief that's a couple sessions in, it's like, I actually thought that I was going to be this like heroic figure, but I actually think that I want to be a sage that smokes in the woods. Like if the party knows it, they're probably not going to try to put you in danger. They're going to be like, I actually make a nature check to see if I can find something for Beelzebub. You find grass. I take them grass. Thank you.
No, yeah, I love that. And as a player and as a GM, I want to hear that. Like in our dark matter game, like hearing any of you say like, okay, I know we started here and I said I want to do this, but now I want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be all for that. Like I'm going to be all for like I want to hear and know, you know, those changes and those things that you want to see and those ways you want to be. And that's gonna, like, we discussed this, that like I was technically running a module. There was technically sort of some preset scenarios, but I also really mixed it up. Like I really kind of like took the base of that game and then took it in a completely, like I completely changed some of those characters. I completely changed some of those situations. The second y'all started doing something different, I was like, oh well, that's not happening. We're fine. The characters are going in this dark alleyway and they're climbing on the rooftops now. So this scenario that did not exist is 100%. Oh, now they're getting phone numbers off of the MPs. That's cool. They're gonna romance these and like I had moments where, because you had started to like these NPCs more, suddenly it was like, okay, these NPCs are gonna make an appearance more, and you telling me those things is gonna make me do, and I want to hear that. And I want to have those discussions, and I want, that kind of meta communication is delicious to me. Give it to me. I want it. Like that sort of communication. Some people might think that like, I think that a lot of people would enjoy more communication if they knew it was an option.
Yes, I agree.
think, and even when it goes to, there were some moments of our campaign where, you know, I as the GM wanted to keep some things secret to surprise you all and give you all fun, but I also wanted to inform you of your options. And I think there's value in communicating that stuff, I think there's value in saying like, hey, here are some of the things that kind of could happen. Are any of them a nope? Are any of them an X? Are any of them a big O plus?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I want to hear and know that, because I want y'all to do what you want to do.
I think
I
this
have
is
the most fun when I can sit back and watch you all.
I think this is a prime example of, literally, we talked about, if the table isn't fun and you're not comfortable, it sucks, but it might be that you should leave, because there will always be a table that you will have fun at. Finding it is sometimes one of the hardest issues, which is why we have like social media that helps us, and we have Roll20 to find games, and we combine those things. Or even like talking here, like there's a bunch of people that were interested in playtesting the idea that I have. And let me be clear, I remember those names. I copied the names down so I knew how to find these people. But it's like, if you can, it's the difference in being nervous to approach someone about it, and wanting to approach someone but then like being shut down. Because it's like, I want to talk to you about this thing that I was really excited about because I like the way you're doing it. No, you might have been interested in the graveyard over there, but we're only going to talk about this dead mouse. Okay, I guess. Because I think the way that our gaming style is changing en masse is that collaborative storytelling is one of the most important things. Even if it's a person who is like the main role of storyteller versus the group is telling the story with like something more GM-less, the collaborative storytelling, the communication, people telling me what they want to see, people telling me what they're interested in, is huge. And also, it takes a whole lot of pressure off of me, because sometimes I'm like, I have to make sure that you are interested in the things that I'm talking about. And you might be smiling, but you could also just be smiling because you get to be the elf with the big sword. It might not be that like you're actually doing the stuff that you want to do. Games are scary.
Yeah. And I want to be clear that like communication is so important. Finding a table that works for you is really important, and having these discussions before, during, and after is so great to everyone at the table. The GM and the players, you should all want to and try to communicate as best you can to all be telling a great story together. That's not to say, just because it's not for me, that it's 100% wrong to like to play a game where, you know, it's players versus GM, because some folks like that. As long as you are doing that with the people that like that, as long as you're not forcing that on someone that wants it, that doesn't want it, sorry, is I think what's really important. And that communication will help you with that. And you know, using things like Roll20 has an entire, you know, community for finding games and finding the right table for you, and having those discussions and like coming to it and saying like, hey, I want a very like narrative heavy game. I want a very combat heavy game. I want a very strategy focused game. I want a very like, it's not wrong to like a thing. Just communicate what you want to see, and like communicate what you want to do. And, you know, all of you should talk about what you would like to see from your game and what you think you can all do together. And I think that's
I mean, there have been tables that I've left because I'm just not comfortable. And it doesn't even mean that it's a fault of the people that are involved. There was a thing that I was invited to, and I was trying to put myself out of my comfort zone to play, and I just couldn't do it because the system itself made me so uncomfortable. And I felt like crap for like a good week and a half. I'm like, I should have done it. I should have just played. I should have just sucked it up. But that should never have to be the case when we have so many games that exist that we can play because we want to play them, and so many people who want to spend time and play with us that we enjoy. I played the first game that I played with you, Jess. Like, I was like, Jess is cool. I want to talk to them more. I want to play more games with them. And then I did. Like, we kept playing games over and over and over, and even like one shots, and then the Tales from the Loop. And then we just kept playing together, and it was just like one circumstance of like, you know what? Like, I liked playing with this person. I want to find more circumstances to play with this person. So it's one nice thing about playing at different tables, because you can have a favorite group of people to play with, but that favorite group of people can get bigger.
Yes. 100%. And like, I feel like every once in a while I just like reach out to you like, hey Gabe.
Yeah, let's
like,
play.
I'm really glad you said yes to the dark matter in particular, because like I invited you because you're someone I like playing with, you're someone I'm comfortable playing with, because I love the stories you tell, right? And I knew that like this being the first time I'm GMing an ongoing campaign streamed, I wanted all those things, and it was important to have someone with me who I was comfortable with and who I liked telling stories with, right? So and I, like you said, I really like that idea of like the play at more tables, play more games. Playing at more tables means you meet more people, means you find more people to add to your group of people you're comfortable with when you're thinking about your next game and who you want to play it with. Playing more types of games means you have more systems to be like, oh shucks, I just found this game and I think Gabe would really like this game. Hey Gabe, have you heard of this game called Ironsworn? I don't know if you have.
I have. Let's play. And so like the game that I started up on the Saturday is the werewolf game. I had played with 3 out of 4 of the people that I play with, and the one person I had never played with at all, his name's Wally, but like I'd seen him on Twitter and stuff, and he was super happy and super nerdy, and I was like, I don't see Wally on any shows really, but I love the personality and the energy he brings. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to invite Wally to play. Like, he seems nice. And we've had a great time. Wally was the person that, there was a clip that went out, of like, we were before we transformed into werewolves, talking about doing like biting exercises. And it was totally improv, but he went along with it so well. And I'm like, this is the energy that I want and I love. And I know people have it. And this is also why I want, like, I know that GMing and sitting down and running a game for other people instead of just like the entire collaborative process, it's intimidating and like terrifying a little bit and hard. And I want to see more people do it, because I feel like as more people get comfortable doing it, we see more interesting stories told, and we get more collaborative storytelling, because people want to tell stories, and I feel like they just don't want to tell it wrong. Like, that's one of the biggest fears, being afraid of like, if I tell this story, I'm going to tell it the wrong way. And chances are there's no wrong way to tell it, but getting over that fear and like nerves for it.
Mm-hmm.
Bah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Were you like, is this werewolf game you're running, like, was it a new system for you?
I've never touched werewolf in my life until like this past Saturday.
But you're enjoying it?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's awesome.
What's cool about it?
I like that. How dare you? I like that it it has like the different stats, and it looked really intimidating, and it literally was like, okay, you take strength and brawl, and the number of dots you have in both of those combined is all the dice you roll. And I'm like, that's it. And then it was just gauging successes to compare. There was a whole lot less math, because I am not the best at math, and it was more collaborative storytelling, because with like Diana, she would be like, okay, well, what kind of skills do you want to use for this thing? And it's like, well, I feel like actually I'm kind of trying to be like clever and coy, because like with my knowledge of like this area. Okay, well, so then let's use intelligence and streetwise, because that right there is collaborative storytelling. It's not that the storyteller has to be like, you have to use these. It's the conversation of, what kind of stuff do you want to use? And you even did that with the dark matter game. You were like, okay, well, what kind of skills do you want to use here? Well, okay, I want to be like kind of doing like tricks. Okay, making acrobatics, or like I'm trying to just navigate this thing. Okay, do piloting.
Yeah.
That
I
conversation.
never want to give someone just one thing. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Teaming. Okay. We have talked a lot about this stuff. Jess, you and I could literally talk for literally hours.
Yeah.
And we probably will. But something that I wanted to do is, since Jess loves GM-less games, I wanted them to bring up a GM-less game that they like. So Jess set up a little thing on Roll20 for all of us of For the Queen. So we're going to run through a little bit of that today. So just start. This is all you. You're in charge here.
That's it. Oh, this is me. I have to do that. Okay. Well, hi friends. Have you played any GM-less games yet? No. Let me introduce you to one right now. This is For the Queen. It is available right now in the Roll20 marketplace. It is available as a physical game as well. I have a copy right here. Look at this. See this box? This is the whole game. This is it. All of it right here. You can take this with you. You can go play it. You can literally be like, hey, we're stuck sitting somewhere for an hour or two. Let's play this game. It's that quick and easy and accessible. It's so much fun. It's so good. And here it is on Roll20, all beautifully laid out for you. And it even has right here on the screen an X. It is pre-built with an X card, and it encourages you to use it. If you don't know, an X card is one of the very simple, basic, and easy to use safety tools. And this game not only encourages it for you to use it as a safety tool, but actually as a storytelling mechanic. You can not only X something just because you don't like it or it's bad. You can literally say, I don't think that prompt makes sense for our story. I don't think that is for me. You can also hand stuff off to the other characters, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So For the Queen, we are all part of a certain queen's retinue. We are all together on a journey, and we are taking the queen to a very, very important meeting. So you start this game by reading the instruction cards, which are all laid out for you and are quick and easy, and there's literally just, let me count, 19? There's 19 instruction cards. They're 1 or 2 sentences long. You read them together as part of the playing and as part of the learning, and it's so easy and beautiful and gets you started into the flow of learning and knowing the story, that you literally just each pull a card one after the other. You start to go around and learn the game and learn the story all together in this way. It's such a good way to start a game. And the fact that all the rules fit onto just a few cards,
yeah, that's kind of amazing.
Is miraculous. It's amazing. It's amazing. If you pull it up in Roll20, it literally comes up on the side in your is it the catalog? Is it in the journal?
Mm-hmm.
And they're literally laid out. Instructions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right down to 19, and that's it. That's how you do it. So since we already know this game a little bit, we can start by pulling a queen card. So on the red deck, what I like to do is everyone playing pull a queen card, and then we pick one. We pick who we want to be our queen. Who is our queen? Do you want to pull a card?
Sure.
Out of the red deck.
Out of the red deck?
Oh, no, it was the prompts out of the blue deck. Sorry. The blue deck is the queens.
Okay.
I know words.
Okay. Ooh, she's pretty.
You're like, ooh, I'm gonna pull one too. I'm gonna pull one out, and then we can.
I can't decide.
So now we have to pick a queen. Who's our queen? Who do you look? Whose card do you look at, and you want to know their story?
Whoa. I don't. Chat, you have to decide. I can't.
Chat, who's our queen?
I like the look on the left. I love the red and gold regality of this.
Yeah.
The right. What animal are they talking to?
That's me too. I'm literally like, hey, the left is so regal. I could totally see this person ruling a kingdom, but the right has that animal, and I'm really curious.
The one on the right has a lizard though.
So all the
queen
lizard cards. Yeah, me too. So the queen cards are all different art. There's a lot of them. They're so amazing. And I've also played games of For the Queen where we brought in our own queen.
I'm gonna start
where we were down. Like, yeah, where we were inspired by, some art we had already seen, or some, we were already telling, like when I mentioned, hey y'all, were you here earlier when I mentioned anthology play? because this game is a great example of a game that's good for anthology play, because you can literally be like, hey, we already have there's a character, there's a queen in our story. We don't know anything about her. Why don't we play for the queen all together and decide who she is? That's something you can do.
Oh my god.
With GMless games. It's so good.
Somehow chat tied with the left or the right, number 1 and number 2, which is both amazing and also significantly more difficult now.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. I'm gonna roll a d6. If it's 1 to 3, it's the left. If it's 4 to 6, it's the right. All right. It is a 2, so we are going with the left, the one that you drew, Jess.
Okay, let's do it.
What do I do with her?
Okay, so you just put her in the queen spot. And you can just literally
Well, what about the one that I drew? Do I put her
the
back?
one that is going to go away, you can delete her and she'll just go back into the hand.
Oh.
She'll go back into the deck. Yeah, you can literally just boop, and then she goes away. So then the red cards are the prompt cards, and each of those cards literally has a question. So going into this game, we don't even necessarily know who we are. You play to find out. Okay. Which is so much fun.
Can you see how excited they are? This is exactly why I wanted to play this game.
Games where you play to find out your story. Like, who am I? I don't know. Let's play and find out.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This is Jess. This is why I wanted to invite you. Do not be unapologetically you.
I'm sorry. I'm such a sucker for this stuff.
So you said prompts?
Yeah, so you literally just pull a prompt, you put it in the prompt spot, and then how it works is basically the person who pulled the prompt spot, the prompt card, that's your question. However, you can pass it off. You can literally say, like, I'd actually think this card is for you, and hand it off, make someone else answer it. Although if you're playing with, there's just the 2 of us, but if we had a big group, it can technically go around the group this way, because you can like be like, this card is perfect for this person, etc., etc. Or you can exit, like I said, if you're like, this card isn't the story I want to tell, or you can answer it, and once you're done, you have final say, because it is your card, but other folks can ask you questions and like want to know further details, and you just play this game in this way and unfold this story together. That's it.
I got a real interesting prompt. What do you do for the queen that anyone else can do, and why does she make you do it?
Ooh.
Beatbox.
Oh my god.
Yes, it's beatboxing. Beatboxing for the queen. Yeah, all right. Deal. Perfect.
Oh my god. Okay. This is so good.
Just
okay, so anyone can do this. Anyone can do this skill. Like, technically anyone can do it. Why does she make you do it?
I think it's because she saw how passionate I was doing it in a street where there was barely anybody else around, and it made her realize the passion was something she wanted to bring into her court herself.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So there were more like technically like learned or academic style beatboxers elsewhere.
Yeah.
But you brought in this like this passion and this motivation.
For the queen, for the queen, the queen. It was just something nonsense like that.
This is so good.
She's like,
I will never understand how you just do songs live while we're playing games. It's the best. Oh my god. Hi, if there's anyone who hasn't seen Gabe do this before, Gabe does this and it's very good.
I do this all the time.
Gabe done this in a number of campaigns where he just like fully will sing you a song or
yeah.
build you a tune, or it's so good.
And I've still never played a bard in Dungeons and Dragons in my life.
Oh my god.
I can't. It's the only class I'd
So
never
good.
played.
This is so good. Okay. So basically we played this game by we continue to go around, and in this way we determined who we are. Like I said, the overall arcing story is that this is our queen and we are on a journey to go to another nation where there is an important meeting that she has to go to. There's like an important talk that has to happen, and we are in her retinue going there. The end game slash turn of the knife in this game is that somewhere in this deck is a card that says the queen is attacked. Do you defend her? So we are playing this game to discover who we are, who the queen is to us, and eventually to determine if we are the kind of people who would protect the queen or be part of her assassination. So that...
I want to play this game.
Did I not tell you that part?
No! That never came up.
Oh, interesting.
What?
Okay, so let's continue, shall we?
Do I just keep pulling prompts?
Yep. You have a personal connection to the land you are currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you? Oh, boy. You got called out as a bard, and I got called out as a druid? Is that what just happened here?
Probably.
Excuse me, game. This is very rude.
Is it? Is it? Or is it just telling it like it is? Because apparently she's gonna die, so...
She doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to die.
Sphinx said nobody expects the beatboxer to stab you in the back. That's true. Like all the stabbing sounds were literally just from my mouth. Oh, the beatboxing murder mime. What?
I literally am now imagining these are like almost orchestral psionic blades.
Yeah. I am a beatboxing murder mime.
This is amazing. How dare you?
Didn't expect that to ever be something I read, especially not something that I was captioned on.
Yep. It's there. You can't take it back. It's in the closed captioner now. Okay, you have a personal connection to the land you are currently traveling through. Okay, so we're traveling from our kingdom. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like you are from the urban center. You said she found you like in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I'm from the outskirts then, like of the kingdom, right on the border between our land and the next land.
Okay.
And my personal connection to the land is that I have family on both sides. My mom is from one kingdom and my dad is from the other kingdom, so I'm literally this border baby.
So you remember we talked about how you can like playing one game and then going to another?
Yeah.
This is the game that I want to play before playing in a fantasy campaign. Because what if literally you define who all of your characters are like and what the queen is like in this game, and then you play them in another role-playing game? My
This
brain.
is what I'm talking about.
I love that. I want to do that. This is happening. I threw down my metaphorical towel.
As long as you don't drop your metaphorical mic.
Nah. This thing was expensive.
Yeah, y'all, this game is called For the Queen. It's available on the Roll20 Marketplace, or in a local game store near you. And it is so good for telling this story, and you can focus on anything. So like Gabe, you're saying you want to use this to like, like pre-build the sort of story, pre-build a world, anything like that. You can use this and specifically have the intention of defining some characters, of defining a kingdom, of defining your world, your continent, your landmass. I've played this game where we ended up deciding that everyone was on kind of like almost like the elemental planes of existence, but the what are they called? The para elemental, the ones that are in between.
Yeah.
So like they were in all the in between ones. So we had like a plane of, I think it was like mud because it was in between earth and water, and we had one of like slime, and we had one of like we had all these different things. Um it was very cool. So this game is perfect for that. This game is perfect for doing pre-play. Oh, actually,
I love that. Literally having a game that can help you play another game if you want to. Tell story. Oh my gosh.
so this game, For the Queen, like I said, is on the Roll20 Marketplace. Not yet on the Roll20 Marketplace, but hey, Roll20, get on this and get this one next. By the same game designer. This is called Starcrossed.
Oh, I do. I have heard of Starcrossed.
It's so good. This is a game that is so good for playing in between your games or defining your characters. If you have, for example, let's say you have a sweet robot boy, and he has feelings for a certain, a certain, not conniving, but you know, kind of powerful CEO of the universe's banks.
Oh, this is a reference to me.
Starcrossed.
Got it. Continue.
Yeah. You're more interested now.
Yeah. I was like, I'm already interested, but this is getting weirdly specific.
Yeah. This is a 2-player game where you define a relationship of two folks that aren't necessarily supposed to be together or that have some difficulty being together, and it kind of deals with like how their connection comes to be, like what happens if they're put in difficult situations, if they get pulled apart, will they last, will they not, it's amazing. And speaking of games that you want to play in between your games or to define a relationship or to anything like that, Starcrossed.
Okay, what if that is a strategy people start using for like when they're GMing games? If they ever feel like they need a break, they just play a game that is a separate system or like an anthology for it, and then it's like, okay, I don't know what this kingdom is like. Let's figure out, like, take your characters from take your D&D characters and consider who they are, and we're gonna play for the queen, and we're gonna build this kingdom, and then we're gonna answer based on that, and then you have this whole world built up, and then next week or next time you play, you jump into that. You have this encounter between two figures who are gonna be a primary part of this story, and they're like, all right, we're gonna take a break from Tales from the Loop this week, and we're gonna just actually look at Starcrossed and figure out who these alien figures are actually going to be, and then come back to it, because you get a little bit of a break from the system if you want it, then you get more of an excitement to delve back into that system with a whole new point of view. You're kind of blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. I have a game that we only play as anthology play. Literally every time we play, it's a different game. So this game has been going on for almost 2 years, I want to say, and it started as a Monster of the Week game. So Monster of the Week is a GM system.
Yeah.
And we literally take turns GMing it. So one time we'll play it, and we'll play it in Monster of the Week, and it'll be one GM. And then next time we'll play a GM-less game, like For the Queen, or The Quiet Year, or Dialect, or pick. There are so many wonderful games out there, y'all. Go find some GM-less games and play them. Go into the Roll20 Marketplace right now.
There's
will find so many. Yeah, and then we'll do a GM-less game, and then the next time we play, a different person will GM. And in this way, it's such a diverse and wonderful, amazing story.
Yeah.
Like it's never the same thing twice. So yeah, like we were just discussing, like you can literally use The Quiet Year and build your map. You can use, like you said, if you're getting like really tired of GMing and you're like, y'all, I need a break, but I still love y'all and want to play at this table. Let's all play a GM-less game together this week. Hey.
There's character sheets for almost everything on Roll20. The Iron Sworn game doesn't have a Roll20 marketplace thing because you can download the game for free, but there is the character sheet built into Roll20 that I was literally using like last week to tell a remake of an anime that I've been watching. Don't look at me. I was shocked.
Yeah.
So much stuff. Okay, yes.
Yep. Okay,
We
sorry.
distracted ourselves this time.
It's a really interesting and good conversation that I think more people should talk about. Anyways, so I think this is very important, and we have brought up some very good points. And I think all of you watching this should admit you're convinced about our great ideas that we've told you here. But me as a character in For the Queen right now, I'm personally connected to the land because I have family on both sides of it. I kind of live on the border, and what makes me want to stay and why don't I is that I love this land. I care for this land. I have a space out in this land where I probably have like a farm or something. It's kind of half on plains and half on forested area, and I really care for both of these spaces and the benefits that they pose to each other. However, being a border citizen means that I get a hard time from both communities, as in this kingdom gives me a hard time for not being fully of this kingdom, and being this kingdom gives me a hard time for not being fully of this kingdom. Yeah. So I'm very, very invested in our traveling and this meeting with the queen, because it might mean our kingdoms are going to come together finally.
Oh, I like it. All right. Do I draw on? Well, what makes you want to? Is that part of your what makes you want to stay, and why don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
What makes me want to stay is that I do really, really care for this land, both sides of it, and I see the benefit in them being together. What makes me not want to stay is sometimes I just want to leave because people are real. Because sometimes people suck.
Okay, good enough. That's all you told me. And so then we just keep going with the prompt cards?
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, so whoever's prompt card it is, you have control of that card. You get final say on that scene and that scenario. You can do more stuff, but the other people at your table can also ask you questions. And at any point you can decide if you want to role play a scene, like, hey, I think I would like to see how this plays out. Will you do this scene? Like, I think my character and your character would have a conversation here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Oh, I love it. All right, let's see the next one. Interesting.
Oh no.
The queen touched you once. What about that what about the memory of that will stay with you forever? I remember the queen coming to talk to me. It was interesting. She invited me into her courtroom and asked me to perform for her again. And I did. I out whenever she asked. And then she looked me in the eyes and asked me a question. It was a strange question. She asked, "May I feel that vibration on my own lips?" And I wasn't sure what that meant until she leaned in for a kiss. But it was scandalous and I won't talk of it.
Oh my god.
I know.
The spice.
Yeah, so much spice. Interesting.
Oh my god. So this went from like, are you the court bard to are you the queen's romance?
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Interesting.
Is this a question we will get answered at some point?
I think so. I think the part of the memory that stays forever is the notion that it wasn't about charm or like attraction that made it stand out. It was the ability that was impressive, and that was what the compliment was tied to.
That's so interesting. So it was very much like, was it almost you would say like a, not cold but like calculated?
Maybe. Like, yeah.
I want to feel and know this for myself.
Yes. What if she only likes me for my boxing? She doesn't care about the beat of my heart.
I don't think that's true.
I hope not.
She chose you and no one else.
She better, because you said that she could die, and that would make me sad.
Yeah, so speaking of that, a trick with this game is that like you have to make sure you shuffle it literally looks like this. And you have to make sure you shuffle it into like the bottom third of the deck.
Oh, you actually have to make sure you shuffle it into the lower third.
Well, I mean,
You don't have to, but you hope so.
One-off.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pull my card.
I think whenever I have someone on the show,
any more questions for you?
Whenever I have the show, I think whenever I have a guest, I want to play a game with them, because playing a game with them is sometimes one of the best ways to sit and talk with someone, and like, even if you know them well, get other people to get to know them. Because when you're doing something that you enjoy, like, you can be mindless and it's so different. Yeah. What questions you got about me?
I was trying to think. Okay, I really like the idea, like we said, that she. Okay, so are you, based on what you just said, do you want it to be more than practical? Do you want it to be more than calculated?
I don't think, I'm not sure yet. Because I think it was so early on. This was probably within the first week of being in her court. So still getting to know who she is.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen her ask this of anyone else?
No, I don't think so. I think, and also it was startling because it was in the throne room, so there were still others around.
Yeah, it was fully like in public.
Yes, and it's like, oh gosh, am I gonna die? Oh no, what if someone uses me for an assassination attempt to get to her? Ah, now this game has me scared. Your turn, Jess.
Okay.
Wow,
Ooh.
We are very polar opposites.
What did you bring with you that endangers the queen? Okay, so this is actively on the journey to where we're going. What did I bring with me that actively endangers the queen? Oh, goodness gracious. Trying to think. I almost feel like I said, because I live on the border and I have some of both. I wonder if there is something like both sides, both kingdoms each produce something uniquely to them, and they are not allowed to go to other side except under like very, like, it is so tightly held and controlled.
Somebody said gluten.
Gluten. Oh god. I mean, it literally, okay, you're laughing, but it could be not, because I am thinking almost from like an agricultural sense or an agricultural standpoint. There is like each side has an extremely unique ecology, and because it is very dangerous and capable of things to spread, things are kept very separate, and you're not allowed to bring it, like, under penalty of death. And I have whatever it is. Like, I brought because I truly believe it's important to unite our kingdoms, and like, because I love them both and I want them to be together, I've brought something of our queen's kingdom to the other side.
Okay.
That's not allowed to be here.
It could be a resource that only a resource that like really only.
It could be like a magic crystal or something, actually, as well. It could be like.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Rather than going as mundane as like, although it could be, maybe it's magical seeds, actually.
Yeah, magical seeds.
Maybe it's a magical plant.
Okay, it's a magical plant. Is it something that's edible or poisonous?
Ooh.
Or maybe neither.
It's something. It's something that is. It's something that if you consume it and survive, you get magic.
You realize we're making Wakanda, right?
Oh, I didn't mean to. Hell yeah. Listen.
No, I'm cool with a plant that if you consume it and survive, you get magic. I am so cool with it. All right. Was there anything else, or is that?
No, that's it. It's unique to our queen's kingdom, and it is forbidden for me to bring it over, and I haven't.
Oh no. The queen is responsible for the death of someone you loved. Who? What happened? I think it was coincidental. I think it was someone who was a friend of mine who found themselves in the queen's service and consumed the plant, but they were not strong enough to live, and they died.
Oh my god. Did they know?
That it would kill them?
Did they know what it was when they consumed it?
Yes. Yeah. I think they did it. It was one of the things where like those who are brave enough to make this attempt can like want to try to survive. Yeah. I adorned with the survive this plant and you get magic. It was an interesting dude. That's concerning. Yeah, I think that it was the case. And then I may have had the opportunity to consume it, but I didn't do it out of like fear and concern.
Because someone you know and you cared for.
Yeah, and it was probably one of those things where it's like someone that I knew and I always thought that they were stronger than I was. And if that took them out, then there's no way that I would survive it.
Yeah.
So she is in a sense responsible for it because she invited him. It wasn't that he was seeking it out, but it may have been that like, yeah, she said that if he was required to take this rite of passage then. So maybe he didn't have much of a choice, and it was she had faith that he would be fine, but that turned out not to be the case.
So do you blame her?
I think partially. I think partially because she required it and did not request it. And I think that's the issue. The idea of choice. Yeah. Ooh, this is getting deep.
Do you worry she'll require it of you at some point?
Yes, definitely.
Spicy.
Definitely.
I love this. Okay.
Yeah, I'm into it. I've never played For the Queen before today. And again, those of you watching, For the Queen is on the Roll20 marketplace.
Yeah.
Right now. So you can literally get it and then play with anyone you enjoy, like invite to your game.
Yeah. And like this setup you're seeing, this is the setup. It's this lovely playmat. And then I don't know if you can see it, but on the side there's a set of cards. And all you do is draw from the decks. It's amazing. Are you done? Should I draw next card?
Yeah, draw a card.
Okay. Oh no. Oh no.
Actually, so for those of you who don't know, Roll20 is raising money for the Code 2040 Tiltify stuff. For the next couple days, for let's just say every $50 raised for Code 2040 like total, I will gift a copy of For the Queen like to a random person that is either here or on Twitter. And you can vouch for that later. I will post it on Twitter as well. But the more donations to Code 2040 that there are, the more people will get to play this game that is kind of going to be consuming my life for the next 72 hours.
It's a very good game and a very good organization.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait, I just read what your thing said. You're considered beautiful.
Go ahead.
You are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception?
Okay. I'm going to tell you something what's funny here.
Yeah.
What's funny here is I've played this game a gazillion times. I played this game a lot. And there is an opposite card to this one that is literally you are ugly. And what's funny is that the way I just no-ed this one,
Yeah.
almost everyone I play with is always like, no, I don't want to be ugly. The "you are ugly" card is my favorite. I'm more worried about having to answer the "you are beautiful" card. I don't like it. I'm like, this is one I actually consider Xing, because I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's You're considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does it make you question this perception?
Well, okay, so let me make a question. Is the beauty physical, or is it something else? Are you able to like actually manage the plants in a way that she never could?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It could definitely be something else, because I don't Oh no. Okay, no, I don't want to take your thing. I was almost gonna say I considered beautiful not because of how I physically look, but because like you're saying, I'm trying to turn it into like, because I can speak to the plants.
Do it. I said it so you could take it. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna take that. This is mine now. Thank you. I like it.
You're welcome. It's yours.
And yeah, and I'm able to like, oh goodness gracious.
I'm sorry, I'm ugly. Not your fault, boy.
How's the so yeah, I'm trying to think of how it works with the magic plant. I have the magic plant. I can talk to the magic plant. Have I consumed a magic plant? Maybe I
Ooh, what if you've also... So maybe the queen has consumed the plant and survived. And those who have consumed it can sometimes see an aura around other people. But maybe the queen's aura is like a murky red, and yours is a vibrant, beautiful green.
That's interesting.
But maybe you maybe you can't see your own. So she dismissed yours. She's like, there's no way yours is more beautiful than mine.
Oh no! Why are you so good at this? This is so good. I was gonna say something. I really like that. I was gonna say something along the lines of like, I want to say that there's probably some powers that come with eating and surviving the plant.
Mm-hmm.
I've never consumed it, but I can speak to the plant, so they give me something. Like,
okay, yeah.
So I have like a small aptitude for the magic without having actually had to go through the process.
Yeah.
I do like the idea though that other people who, like, if you have the magic, you have something about you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's consumed it, so it's brilliant on hers. Mine is really mild, but there's something really pleasant about it.
Yes.
So I do give off this sort of like mild magical aura that is just almost kind of always mild. Like, you can't quite, you're like, what is that?
Yep. It's almost like it's not a glamour, but it's the presence of one.
Yeah. And so I have this very mild magical effect. And she definitely dismisses it as like, well, you haven't actually survived the ceremony.
Yep. Yeah.
You haven't done it.
Maybe there's a whole ritual that goes through, and all you did was the consumption part.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like it. Ooh, juicy. All right. So I have...
What do you got?
Oh, Lord. What do you do that pleases the queen on this journey?
Interesting.
They trying to catch me slipping. You know what? I think that this would be another game for me to actually play with Jess and a sense of longevity, because we are actually nearing the wrap up for Tabletop Tabletalk. And I'm not going to talk about what pleases the queen on this journey, because that gets spicy. We're going to fade to black on this one.
Curtain drawn.
Yeah. But I loved getting to talk to you about like just the GM experience, seeing the different things that stick out, and then like reiterating how much fun collaborative storytelling can be, and that there are so many different ways you can play different games and blend them into a single story. Like if you're literally trying to build a world and you don't know how you want to do it, and you're like, all right, y'all, we're going to play For the Queen first before we start playing like our long game campaign of the other system, because let's build up this world together. And instead of just having to ask them a questionnaire, this was so narratively interactive. And it could be literally that at the beginning of the game the queen is dead, like that's part of the next system story, but how do you get to that point? How does everyone relate to it? I loved that. There is like 100% chance that the next long-term game I run, this is going to be a part of the like session zeros that I'm going to do leading up to it. Jess, tell everyone about your stuff, and also the things that you've been revamping lately. And I think you have a Patreon too.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to play. I genuinely lost track of time because
Yeah.
I really like the story we were telling about this spicy story about our queen. Thank you so much for having me on. Hi, I'm Jess. If you've never hung out with me before, I have a whole channel where we do video games and tabletop role-playing games all the time. I particularly love highlighting indie games and GM-less games, if you can't tell. We do a lot of different games on the channel, so please do come out. We do have some ongoing campaigns. Gabe was on the last sci-fi one we just did. It was really, really good. But we also do regular one-shots of indie games. We have a little bit of everything. You can also see me here and on Salty Sweet Games channel on Tuesdays, where I play Burn Bright, where I play Walala Oodles Needs the Last Telemo. Clearly a Glean name for the ages, as you can tell. And yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I write games. If you like stuff like this, I actually recently redid my first game ever called Our Lady into a like little zine format. But it also plays just in a, here's the entire game in a deck of cards. Nice. Similar. It's kind of if you took this game for the queen and then also a little bit the quiet year, because it plays through seasons. You play through spring, summer, fall, and winter, all the while waiting for the lady to return after you've been divinely visited by her at the beginning of the game. So that's the sort of thing I make. I make little games. I play little games. I love highlighting indie content, queer content, a little bit of everything. We do it all. And actually upcoming right now we're raising funds for Trans Lifeline. And at the end of the month, we're doing our Extra Life stream, which was basically a spooky Halloween Extra Life campaign we do, where we do all sorts of spooky tabletop games. So there's actually a form out right now to sign up if you want to come play spooky games with us. We are doing that and raising funds for Extra Life all for 4 days around Halloween. You can also catch me at Roll20Con, where I will be modding and running demos of Burn Bright. So,
yes. Well, thank you, Jess, for joining me. It was fantastic to be able to A, talk to someone that was not myself, and B, just get to talk about the stuff that we're excited about when it comes to storytelling, and that like there's no single good way to do it. There's a bunch of different ways, and when we get excited about storytelling together like we did today, time literally just breezes by. Oh my gosh. So thank you to all of you who have come out to watch on Twitch. Thank you to those of you watching on YouTube later. I have been reading the comments and I saw some of the stuff that you said. I did start writing up the world building document, so I'm excited to share that with the rest of you. Was trying to get the caption stuff in a more like centered format, and I feel good about this. I feel like it's a little bit easier to follow. I hope that even just today, from seeing this game or listening to the conversations, you feel a little bit more comfortable than you might have the other day if you had some concerns. If you get the chance, please come join us on Roll20Con, October 23rd to the 25th, because there is so much stuff going on, including the swag stuff that will be available. Check us out on Twitter at Roll20. I think it's Roll20 app, and I'm going to make sure because I am an efficient human being individual. Yes, at Roll20 app. I hope you join me next Friday as part of the Roll20Con adventure. I think it'll be starting a half hour late of the normal schedule just because of getting everything to blend together well. But again, if you get the chance, please donate to Code 2040. They support a lot of both Black and Latinx just involvement and technology, and you can probably guess from looking at me why that is such a important thing as an African American person working in a digital media field. Thank you again for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Stay safe, stay smart, be happy, and do not ever forget that you are, in fact, extremely, absolutely, positively, chaotically creative.